Hello and welcome to HappyFox University. Today we're going to do a deep dive into how to make the most out of HappyFox's ability to help you manage your service level agreements inside of the ticketing system. Now, at every one of our plan levels, a way for you to build in service level agreements that you may have with your customers. If you have very basic ones where one SLA fits all, that's a very simple thing to implement inside of HappyFox. You simply start creating an SLA, and we have most common objectives to many SLAs already baked into HappyFox here. For example, if the time taken to send a first response to a ticket should be in, shall we say, 4 hours or less, with a goal of 95%. I can simply hit next, and then that will apply to every single ticket that comes into HappyFox. Then you get to start asking, well, under what conditions should things be evaluated? Well, any of the data that you've gathered in HappyFox so far, whether they're in standard fields or custom fields that you have built into HappyFox, you can build them into service level agreements. I'm going to come back and discuss how to use contact groups so that you can build SLAs out on a per client basis. But before I dive back into that area, I'm just going to go through this and leave this area blank, which would make it a catch-all for any ticket in the system. So there's no specific conditions under which it should be evaluated, so this applies to everyone. Then I have the ability to build in breach notification, which is very important because not only can we monitor a ticket as it's approaching a breach, you would do that in the dashboard area, which we'll go view soon, but if a ticket does happen to breach for any reason, then you can build in an email recipient here. And you can have multiple recipients. You can have a distribution list with a subject saying ticket breach. You can describe the email content, and it will send a link out directly back to the ticket that breached, so that everybody whom it reaches will be able to dive back into the ticket and start handling it right away. Now, once I finish these things out, and I will put test, so that I can move to the next page, I simply can just describe what type of SLA it is. Again, this would be like an open all SLA. Describe it. If I want to associate it with particular work schedule, exclude any particular statuses, I can choose to apply to only particular categories should I wish, so we can be very granular in terms of how this applies. And then I would just simply set this live, and then all tickets that come into HappyFox, it would apply to it just like that. Now, as I said before, there's a way where you can view on your dashboard any ticket that is also approaching a breach. And this is on our Fantastic Plan level. The notification and this section, you would have to be on our Fantastic Plan level or above to make the most use out of it. But once you build in SLAs inside of HappyFox, then you can look in this section and it'll let you know in real time how tickets are approaching toward a breach. But let's say that you had multiple SLAs that you were managing on behalf of many clients that you have. One client might represent a larger source of your revenue, and so they have a tighter SLA that you have with them. Well, the way to manage that, and we're going to start out over here in the contact section. Anybody who raises a ticket in HappyFox becomes a contact in HappyFox. What you can do, though, is build out what are known as contact groups inside the system. You can build a contact group that you can name yourself, describe it, and then if you choose so, you can auto-add contacts from domains. So if you are managing external customers and one of your large customers happens to all have the same domain, or it's .co.uk, .co.jp, .co.in, whatever the case may be, you can add all the different variations to it. And so anyone that would send in a ticket from those particular domains would automatically be a member of this contact group. Another way to use contact groups is in the event that you're trying to create a VIP list of people who may all have the same email address, but you want to break them out separately from people. You can create a contact group. You can name it something like VIP or faculty or something along those lines, and you can go into any particular contact that's in the system, and you can add it, that particular contact, to a contact group. Now, how does all this affect SLAs? Well, when you build out a contact group, you can also then have different SLAs apply to different contact groups because they are a condition in the system. So, if in my previous example I said a catch-all would be 4 hours, but if I had a very important customer where instead I wanted them to be in 2 hours or less, as opposed to the 4 hours I just gave for everybody, and it has to be 100% tight. I can build that in, and now when I go in under the conditions which it should be evaluated, I can simply go in there and select contact group is IBM. So by doing this, what I've done is say, well, a different amount of information, different time frames, different rules apply to anything from our customer IBM. And so now when I roll through this, I can build out the same things as you saw before. I can build out breach notifications along those lines, and I go and set them live. But now, if something comes in from the IBM contact group, from ibm.co.uk or .co.jp, this particular SLA applies to it, which has a 2-hour response time, 100% accuracy, as opposed to a 4-hour response time with 95% for the rest of the customers. So by using SLAs in this manner, if you create a general one for everybody, that's simple enough. But if you want to create multiple SLAs for different clients that you have, first build out the contact group for the client, and then go back in and build an SLA for that contact group. And all of a sudden, the new information for the SLA that you've associated with that particular contact group will take into effect for any tickets that anybody sends in from that contact group. Thank you very much. For more information, please come back to HappyFox University.